Ready? All right, good evening. Welcome to the Cuyahoga County's Council's regular meeting. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Calling the roll, Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Germana. Mr. Germana is absent this evening. Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Schwan.
Here.
Ms. Conwell.
Here.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Ms. Brown. Ms. Brown is absent this evening. Mr. Hairston.
Here.
Ms. Simon.
Here.
Mr. Greenspan.
Here.
And President Brady.
Here.
There is a quorum.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Councilman.
I'll make a motion to excuse the absence of Councilman Germana and Councilwoman Brown.
And I'll second that motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. The council members are excused. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we have our moment of silent meditation. Want to remind members that I sent out an email some time ago asking if people might have suggestions, and I'd like to open that up. If any members at any point have suggestions for the moment of silence, we would certainly be receptive to that. As for this evening, I'd like to choose the march from Selma to Montgomery. I'm not talking about Bloody Sunday. I'm talking about the march itself, when the federal government federalized the National Guard to protect the marchers in their March for Voting Rights. I think it was probably, in my mind, the culmination of what was then called the modern civil rights movement. And so I'd like a moment of silence to think about how significant that was. Thank you. Any public comment related to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. President, there are two persons who have signed in to speak. The first is Mr. Rico Dancy.
Welcome, Mr. Dancy.
Good afternoon. First thing I need to discuss is the project, the $35 million project. Thank you. The 35 million project was the mayor approved a month ago or Monday. I went to the council meeting. They approved, we need more jobs. South that project, it's not worth it spending 35 million on that project. I think it's worth it, the taxpayer money. I'm a taxpayer, and it will cost taxpayer homes more taxes to put a park downtown Cleveland. I don't think that's not worth the project. They should deal something else with that money, like put jobs in the community, fix our school system, fix our streets. Do something else with that money, said to build a park. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The next speaker is Mr. Puri.
Welcome, Mr. Peary.
Thank you.
Yeah, good evening. County Executive Budish, Council President, Vice President, and Council members. This is my fourth opportunity to speak before you. At present, in addition to opposing the Lakefront Bridge, also known as the Jimmy DeMora Bridge, I'm actively opposing the Public Square project for the past 8 months. Yesterday, on the first day of start of construction, there was a 6-hour demonstration waving the Leave Public Square Alone and Hunger Strike Stop Public Square Corruption signs. I just came from Public Square after a 2-hour demonstration. The traffic is slowly crawling and very, very unsafe. This is the second day of the hunger strike. Yesterday morning, I was interviewed by a reporter from WKYC TV. The interview lasted about 5 minutes. I explained in detail why I oppose the Public Square project. However, the evening news reported a 3 or 4 word quote, that's all, without showing the context, because everything that I said was wrong with the project was totally edited out. The hunger strike, Stop Public Square's corruption sign was sticking in the face of the reporter. Yet, not a single question was asked why I was on a hunger strike. Our reporters work for a spineless management in a corrupt environment where City Hall, Cuyahoga County, the business community, and the media all work together for their mutual benefits. However, when corrupt politicians are nabbed, the media shamelessly capitalizes on endless stories about their escapades. Question is, why a hunger strike? This is the second day. A corrupt process was used in the development of the radical makeover of 218-year-old Public Square. Once the project is completed, Ontario Street will be completely closed while Superior Avenue will be narrowed from 77 feet to 48 feet with 4 lanes of bus traffic and 8 bus stops within Public Square. However, the rendering, I've sent a copy, by the world-famous landscape architect James Corner Field Operations, shows only 1 bus as far as the eye can see. 8 bus stops, 4 lanes, and only 1 bus? Really? Whom are they kidding? Planners in City Hall say, wow, awesome. Even Mr. Budish has said wow to this for a similar rendering. I say mass deception. With buses nowhere to turn, Superior Avenue, in my opinion, will be transformed into a virtual parking lot for buses as shown on the overleaf. A request, Mayor Jackson never responded to a request for a 1-week-long traffic test and citywide public meetings, issues dealing with public safety, and request for an environmental impact statement. During questions by the TV reporter yesterday morning, I was asked if I had conveyed my concerns to a political leader. I said yes. I had sent 10 emails and 2 certified letters to Mayor Jackson. I have to walk 3 miles round trip to mail a letter to our mayor. And His Honor never bothered even to respond to one of them. And of course, this comment was edited out in the evening news. So welcome to Jimmy DeMora Square. A document is being submitted for the record. I'll appreciate a copy of the environmental impact statement as requested. Thank you for your attention and happy St. Patrick's Day.
Okay, we're going to move on to what I call item 5.5. We have the administration has requested that we walk on some resolutions this evening. It seems not inappropriate to me. Mr. Kraus, would you give us just a thumbnail sketch? This is not complicated. We have some appointments to some boards that we would like to walk on to.
Yeah, 54 is
schedule.
confirming the county executive's reappointment of Joseph Gibbons to serve on the Cuyahoga Arts and Culture Board of Trustees. The term is 4/1/15 through 3/31/18, and 2015-0055 is confirming the county executive's appointment or reappointment of various individuals to serve on the Cuyahoga Community College Board of Trustees for the term 1/17/15 through 1/16/2020. It is pursuant to the resolution appointment of Helen Forbes Fields, replacing Nadine Fian, and the reappointment of Jerry Kelsheimer.
Thank you. I'd like to move that we add these resolutions to our calendar this evening.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those, any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. The resolutions will be added to the calendar. Thank you. Next, item 6 is approval of minutes. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for the February 24th Committee of the Whole and the February 24th regular meeting. Is there a second? Second. Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any nays? The minutes have been approved. There is no announcement from the council president. Is there a message from the county executive?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to present 4 brief items. First, I'm pleased to say that our administration released the Transition Work Group's report just the other day, representing hundreds of hours of volunteer work by civic and business and community leaders, people from all over the community. It was wonderful to see such civic commitment. They made suggestions and provided guiding thoughts about how to ensure that we continue to move forward as a county government and ensure that we're best serving our citizens. And I commend that report to you. It's online. And I'd like to thank all the people who worked on it because they did spend a whole lot of time. I view it as a first step in our continuing conversation with the community to make sure that we're doing the right things as an administration. Second is I would like to mention that we did file an amicus brief with the U.S. Supreme Court in support of marriage equality. We are just one of 15 states today that does not have full marriage equality for all of its citizens. And I view this as a jobs issue. Cuyahoga County should welcome all people to work and live here. And for more than a decade, LGBT couples in our state have been denied equal rights under the law. It's also a family issue. Our employees in the Division of Children and Family Services have seen firsthand the damage that the law inflicts on entire families. According to county caseworkers, several children have articulated anxiety that their family could be torn apart. Since Ohio does not recognize same-sex marriage, only one person in a same-sex marriage can legally be identified as a child's parent. So if that one parent dies, it could result in the removal of a child from the home and the denial of visitation rights to the second parent. As the largest child welfare agency in the state of Ohio, we, Cuyahoga County, we have a vested interest in the court's decision and the impact it'll have on families receiving services and benefits through our Division of Children and Family Services. Third, we received round 1 of the housing demo applications. 22 came in, totaling about $10.5 million. Total requested, some 570 homes are proposed for demolition. I believe every district represented in the county had at least one community that submitted. And we are reviewing those against the eligibility requirements that council established, and we'll keep you apprised. And finally, last week, as part of my energetic job to meet with 100 business leaders in 100 days, I met out at Edwin's with Brandon Krostowski, who is the owner and operator out there, and saw literally the wonderful work that he is doing there. He helps former prisoners, give them a second chance. There is no screening done. I mean, he takes people regardless of what they went to prison for. There's no screening initially for drugs. If somebody has a drug problem and that's evidence, he will make sure that they get rehab, and then he'll hire them back if they're interested. His secret sauce is caring and attention to each individual person. It's amazing to watch, and I commend to you, if you have a free evening, go out and get dinner at Edwin's. It's great food as well, but it's really something to behold. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. Next, item 9, legislation introduced by council, committee reports, and consideration of resolutions of council for second reading adoption under suspension of rules. I'd like a motion to suspend Rule 9D.
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rule.
Motion has been made and seconded to suspend the rule. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. The rule is suspended. Clerk, would you please read the item?
Resolution number 2015-0037, a resolution approving the reappointment of Thomas L. Kolaluka to serve on the Cuyahoga County Personnel Review Commission for the term March 8th, 2015 through March 7th, 2021, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Motion has been made to move and seconded.
President Brady, I'd like to make a motion for a substitute,
All right.
proposed substitute. Is there a second for the?
Second.
The proposed substitute is just technical changes in nature. Basically, some wording. It's on page 22 of your agenda. And so I'd ask for passage of the proposed substitute.
All right. We'll have a voice vote for approving the substitute. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, the substitute is approved. And now a voice vote to adopt the resolution on its merits as a substitute, as substituted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed, motion is approved as substituted.
Resolution number 2015-0038, a resolution supporting the application of the Chesler Group Incorporated to Ohio Development Services Agency for Ohio Historic Preservation Tax Credits for restoration of Stager Beckwith Mansion located at 3813 Euclid Avenue, Cleveland, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair. This is a resolution supporting the Chesler's Group application for Ohio Historic Tax Credits for the project to restore the Beckwith Mansion in Cleveland, which will house the Children's Museum of Cleveland. Thank you.
Councilman Harrison. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Resolution is adopted. I'm recusing myself on this particular vote. I have a relative of my wife. So, next, committee reports and consideration of an ordinance of council for second reading.
Ordinance number 2015-0007, an ordinance amending section 208.01 of the Cuyahoga County Code to change the number of members serving on the Citizens Advisory Council on Equity from 15 to a range of 9 to 15.
Councilwoman Conwell, did you want to add anything to this?
Just this will go 3 readings, but basically the Human Resources Appointment and Equity met about this, and I thought it was a quick piece of legislation because we were just amending a member count, but it did spur some discussion in regards, and I believe Councilman Germana, since he couldn't be here this evening, we stated we would state his what he would like to add, and we would let that go through the minds of council. And if there's any objections or conversation in regards to that before the 3rd reading would come to pass, that the council members would share how they felt. And I believe that Councilman Germana had stated that if we were going to go with from down to 15 to 9 members, what about the thought of having exactly 11 members so each council member could pick a representative from their district? So that's basically his thought in regards to that. So the compromise was we would have a range of 9 to 15 members. It was originally at 15. We would go down to a range of 9 to 15. Then that way it would allow any council members that felt that they would like a representative on the equity committee from their district, that they could implement that, which has always been the standard since the ordinance was created. But any further discussion on that, please share with me or Councilman Gallagher who is the vice chair, before the third reading. Thank you.
All right. We'll move this to the March 24th agenda for consideration for third reading adoption. Consideration of an ordinance of council for third reading adoption.
Ordinance number 2015-0002, an ordinance amending section 206.06 of the Cuyahoga County Code to update the operating rules of the Charter Review Commission.
Move
Motion
to adopt.
Second. Motion.
Chair.
Yes, Councilman Miller.
Mr. President and my colleagues, the county charter requires that the county council establish operating rules for charter review commissions, which we did prior to the start of the 2012-13 Charter Review Commission. This ordinance updates those rules to reflect the changes made in the Charter Review Commission charter amendment that was passed by the voters last fall, and to incorporate what we learned from the first Charter Review Commission. The changes reflecting last fall's charter amendment move several of the dates specified in the rules up by about a month to reflect the earlier organizational start afforded by that charter amendment. The changes, based on experience, primarily create greater flexibility, such as to allow charter review commissions their choice as to whether or not to use a committee structure, and to allow commissions to provide preliminary reports prior to and/or addendums subsequent to their main report to the executive and council. The amended language is designed to provide better advance notice of meeting times, dates, and locations. We afforded members of the 2012-13 Charter Review Commission the opportunity to review and comment on the draft changes and received some input which was incorporated, and suggestions from council members and staff were also included. Overall, the changes in this ordinance are not major, but will provide operational improvement and greater flexibility and will facilitate better public participation, and I ask for your support.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Ordinance is adopted. Legislation introduced by the executive. Consideration of resolutions for first reading adoption under suspension of rules. Could I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules.
Motion has been made and seconded to suspend the rules. Any discussion? All those in favor of suspending the rules, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the rules, ayes have it. The rules have been suspended.
Resolution number 2015-0044, a resolution amending the 2014-2015 biennial operating budget for 2015 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations from the general fund and other funding sources, for appropriation transfers between budget accounts, and for cash transfers between budgetary funds in order to meet the budgetary needs of various county departments, offices, and agencies, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
So motion to adopt? Been moved and seconded. Discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Mr. President, thank you. I have, as my colleagues are aware, every meeting I do a review and solicit comments and questions regarding this item to ask of the administration. I have an amendment that I'd like to propose, and the amendment is to delete item B in section 2. The reason I'm asking for the deletion is this was an item that I had requested a response from the administration. One was not offered. I'd like to remove it, allow the administration opportunity to present it at the next council meeting. So I'll make a motion to amend Resolution 2015-0044 by deleting item B in section 2.
Second. All those in favor of amending the ordinance, please say aye. All those opposed? Ordinance is amended.
Thank you, Mr.
Believe we
Chair.
need to have a voice vote. Yes.
I'm sorry, I was ready for the vote. I thought we had voted. I was going to have additional comments. Sorry.
Need to now vote on the ordinance as amended. All those in favor of voting on the ordinance as amended, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Resolution is adopted as amended. Councilman Greenspan, do you have any further comment?
Thank you. I apologize for interrupting. There are two items I want to draw my colleagues' attention to. Question 2, although there was a response provided by the administration, I've asked for further detail in the Finance and Budget Committee meeting, which will be on the 16th. And the only other item I want to draw my colleagues' attention to is the item as it relates to the county airport. There is a request for a I'll round up, $3.2 million use of reserves. This is a combination of temporary and permanent use of reserves. The county will utilize, at the end of the day, $900,000 of our own reserves, but we're having to advance the $3.2 million to get a reimbursement from additional funds. So I just want to draw those 2 items to your attention, and it's summarized on the schedule at the last page of the package. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
President.
I think there is interest in revisiting the county airport around several issues. Clerk, would you read the next item, please?
Resolution number 2015-0045, a resolution approving an amendment to a collective bargaining agreement between Cuyahoga County and Teamsters Local 436, affiliated with the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, representing approximately 70 employees in various classifications in the Department of Public Works for the period January 1, 2013 through December 31, 2015, to modify language in Article 32, wages, directing that funds necessary to implement the amendment be budgeted and appropriated, authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
All right, this was discussed in executive session. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the amendment. The amendment has been seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Councilman Miller, did you have some discussion?
Yes. Is it the next one where we actually have to amend to accept or reject?
Yes, it
So,
is.
okay, so we'll,
All right, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2015-0046, a resolution either accepting or rejecting the report containing findings and recommendations of fact finder Thomas J. Knoll regarding negotiations between Cuyahoga County and Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association for a collective bargaining agreement representing approximately 126 employees in the classification of Protective Services Officer, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
I'd like to move to adopt this resolution.
Second.
Been moved in and seconded. We discussed this again in executive session. The way the legislation was written, it was written so that the council might not take action on it. I am proposing that we do take action on it, and I would like to amend this legislation in about 3 places, just to allow us to approve this report and accept this recommendation. Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor of amending the legislation, say aye. 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 All those opposed? Any further discussion? I'd like to vote on the adoption of the resolution on its merits as amended. All those in favor say aye.
aye.
All those opposed? Resolution is adopted as amended. Consideration of resolutions for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution number 2015-0047, a resolution confirming the county executive's appointment of Clifford E. Pinckney upon his taking the oath of office as Cuyahoga County Sheriff, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
We'll refer to this to the committee of the whole for March the 24th at 2:30 p.m. And now we have the walk-ons.
Yes. At this time, I'd like to read into the record resolution number 2015-0054, a resolution confirming the county executive's reappointment of Joseph Gibbons to serve on the Cuyahoga Arts and Culture Board of Trustees for the term April 1, 2015 through March 31, 2018, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective. This legislation is sponsored by County Executive Budish.
This will be referred to Human Resources.
And resolution number 2015-0055, a resolution confirming the county executive's appointment or reappointment of various individuals to serve on the Cuyahoga Community College Board of Trustees for the term January 17, 2015 through January 16, 2020, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective. This is for the appointment of Helen Forbes Fields and reappointment of Jerry L. Kelsheimer, and this legislation is sponsored by County Executive Budish.
This will also go to HR.
Resolution number 2015-0048, a resolution making an award on requisition number 32756 to the Triad Engineering and Contracting Company in the amount not to exceed $694,765 for replacement of Warrensville Center Road culvert number 05.13 in the city of Shaker Heights, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, authorizing the county engineer on behalf of the county executive to make an application for allocation from county motor vehicle $7.50 license tax funds in the amount of $555,812 to fund said contract, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
So go to Public Works.
Resolution number 2015-0049, a resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of county sales tax revenue bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $13 million for the purpose of paying or reimbursing the costs of constructing, reconstructing, refurbishing, renovating, and improving permanent improvements to publicly owned park space known as Public Square, together with all necessary appurtenances and work incidental thereto, and for the purpose of paying any capitalized interest on the bonds and paying the costs of issuance in connection therewith, authorizing the execution of one or more agreements in cooperation with other parties and in furtherance of the project, authorizing the preparation and use of a preliminary official statement, authorizing the preparation, execution, and use of an official statement, approving and authorizing the execution of a trust indenture and a continuing disclosure agreement, authorizing other actions related to the issuance of the bonds, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Refer this to the Committee of the Whole for March the 24th.
Resolution number 2015-0050, resolution making a Cuyahoga County 911 Consolidation Shared Services Fund award to City of Beechwood on behalf of East Side Departments Group Enforcement in the amount not to exceed $1,968,000 for public safety answering point consolidation support for the period February 1, 2015 through January 31, 2016, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
We'll go to Justice Affairs.
Resolution number 2015-0051, a resolution authorizing an agreement with Cuyahoga County Treasurer's Office in the amount not to exceed $42,307.74 for child support services for the period January 1, 2015 through December 31, 2015, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Refer this to Health and Human Services.
Resolution number 2015-0052, a resolution authorizing agreements with various providers in the total amount not to exceed $7,587,891.68 for child support services for the period January 1, 2015 through December 31, 2015, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreements and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective for the providers and in the amounts not to exceed as printed on the agenda, items 6, 1 through 3.
Health and Human Services.
Resolution number 2015-0053, a resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1300-099 with Lutheran Metropolitan Ministry for emergency shelter services for homeless men located at 2100 Lakeside Avenue, Cleveland, for the period January 1, 2013 through December 31, 2015, for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,701,638, authorizing the county executive Executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Health and Human Services. Committee reports and consideration of resolutions for second reading adoption under suspension of rules. Could I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rule.
Councilman Gallagher has suspended the rules. Councilman Strawn has seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor of suspending the rules say aye. Aye. All those opposed, rules have been suspended.
Resolution number 2015-0022, a resolution confirming the county executive's appointment of Edward H. Kraus upon his taking the oath of office as Cuyahoga County Director of Regional Collaboration, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
I'll move to adopt. Motion has been moved and seconded. We have all become pretty familiar, many of us have, with Mr. Kraus over the last several months. We're looking forward to working with you, Eddie. And I know we're going to have a swearing-in ceremony here, but first of all, we have to vote. So is there, I'd like to have a voice vote to adopt this resolution that will confirm Edward H. Kraus as the Cuyahoga County Director of Regional Collaboration. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Kraus, you have been confirmed. Now, would you gentlemen like to make this official? That's what I keep hearing, yeah.
I, Edward H. Kraus,
I, Edward H. Kraus,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
uphold, and defend
uphold, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and laws
and the Charter and laws
of the County of Cuyahoga, Ohio,
of the County of Cuyahoga, Ohio,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
diligently,
diligently,
and impartially
and impartially
perform and discharge
perform and discharge
all of the powers and duties
all of the powers and duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as Director of Regional Collaboration
as Director of Regional Collaboration
in and for the County of Cuyahoga,
in and for the County of Cuyahoga,
State of Ohio,
State of Ohio,
according to the best of my ability
according to the best of my ability
and understanding.
and understanding.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mr. Kraus.
Thank you.
All right, Madam Clerk, would you please read the next item?
Resolution number 2015-0043, a resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1300-098 with MHS Incorporated for emergency shelter services for homeless women and families at the Norma Herr Women's Center located at 2227 Payne Avenue, Cleveland, for the period January 1, 2013 through December 31, 2015, for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,119,034, authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Motion has been moved by Councilman Jones and seconded. Do we have any discussion? Mr. Jones?
Mr. President, this contract is supported 100% by Health and Human Service dollars. The shelter serves up to 180 women a night and provides supportive services, case management services for these women to provide wraparound services or potentially housing. And I ask my colleagues for support.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Resolution is adopted. Miscellaneous committee reports. We'll start down here on the right.
Finance and Budget will meet on March 16th at 1 p.m. To discuss matters carried over as well as the item I addressed earlier from the bi-weekly fiscal report.
Anything? Councilwoman?
Human Resources Appointment Equity falls on Tuesdays, on the opposite Tuesdays of council, so I do apologize that it's falling on March 17th, a big day around here, this city, and I must have a committee. I do apologize for that to my committee members who have been in my ear that it's St. Patty's Day, so I do apologize. 10 o'clock, Human Resources and Appointment and Equity, and we will be quick. Thank you.
And the Health and Human Services Committee will meet 8 days from today on Wednesday, March 18th at 1 o'clock to deal with the items referred today.
Chair, the Education and Environment Committee will be meeting March 25th at 11 o'clock a.m. to review the College Savings Account program as well as an update on Sustainability Department at 11.
7 o'clock.
Any other miscellaneous business? I would just like to say that, we'll be meeting, of course, on the 24th of March at 2:30 for our Committee of the Whole, and then, of course, our regular meeting following. Councilman Greenspan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just 2 items. First of all, as my colleagues know, I invite everyone to my town hall meetings. My next town hall meeting will be March 19th. County Executive Budish will be the featured speaker. And also tomorrow, each of you will receive a copy of legislation accompanied by a legislative report that I wrote, which will address the college savings account in a repeal replacement movement. So that'll be in your inboxes tomorrow morning. Mr. Soren will be distributing it. Thank you.
Any other miscellaneous business? Hearing none, is there any public comment unrelated to the agenda?
Mr. President, there is none.
None. Could I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Meeting is adjourned. See you in 2 weeks.